We have arrived. This is Route 941, brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe.
This is Dennis. Glad you're riding shotgun with me as we travel our region to find the best in local country music. Jaclyn Reinhart is someone that I've been a friend of and a fan of for a number of years. She was really active in the music scene in Fredericton, and that's when I was first made aware of this lady with a great voice and really cool songs. As soon as Jaclyn relocated to St. John, she became a driving force in the songwriting community right here in our region. And I'm glad to chat with her here tonight. Jaclyn Reinhart, welcome to Route 941 on Country 94.
Thank you so much for having me, Dennis. It's really great to have a chance to chat with you.
It's good to sit down and actually talk about music for a change.
Yeah, totally.
Now, you've been really busy. You've got a new project that's coming out. Actually, it's next month, isn't it? Your EP, Sleep with Ghosts.
So that's coming out October the 15th in full force. Yeah, so I've been busy planning the release and everything, and I've been releasing some singles and got things on the go. It's a blessing and a curse sometimes, but it's good.
So let's talk about your new single. It's called Rear View.
I released it on August the 27th. It's been really great so far. Just out the gate, I've had lots of support, and, people are really responding well to this new style that I've taken on, and I love it a lot. It was a co-write with one of my friends. Her name's Kim Williams. Turned out to be one of my favorite songs.
Why do I get the feeling that there's a story that might be attached to the lyrics of that song?
There's so many stories. I've been on quite a path of self-exploration and self-acceptance for the last few years, and just healing from some things that happened and some really poor relationships that I was in, sort of a form of self-sabotage, if you will. And when I reached out to Kim to be my co-writer, I already sort of had the shell of the song, but I needed something new. And I said to her, why don't you work with me on this? The structure was already there and everything. I needed a theme and I needed something fresh. She was happy to do it. So we started having a conversation about some things in the past. But actually the first thing that happened was that, she had title written, I met her through the Songwriters Association of Canada, and we started working together before. And then we'd always wanted to dig in deeper and work on some projects. And I didn't know that it was going to be this one. I had to make the decision to lose an entire track and only have 4 songs, or salvage what I had. So I was like, you know what? I love this. So readjusted some things, and Kim had these titles. So as we started talking about, working on this particular track together, looked at the titles that she had written before, and Rear View popped right out to me. I was like, oh my gosh, there's something about this. It sounds like a song that I would want to listen to, so let's talk about it. And we started talking, and we both had been in emotionally abusive relationships before. We just started talking about relationships and then leaving things in the past because we were both in better places. She's got a partner that, is amazing now. And I had just moved on and realized my worth and got rid of some bad relationships and whatever. She had, talked about how we're just leaving things in the past and moving on to this greater place coming to fruition for both of us. So that was the reason why Rear View was leave it in the past. You're leaving this bad relationship. And it doesn't even have to be a love relationship. Some of them are a bad friendship. You enter into toxic relationships with people and you can't see it at the time. And then when you look back, you're like, wow, what was I thinking? So relatable to so many different things. So it's really about taking anything that is not healthy and just putting it behind you and knowing that there are so many better things that are waiting for you.
And see, that's the great thing about music anyway. I mean, you could take a scenario just like you're describing and you could apply it to a personal situation, and it just means something totally different to whomever's listening to it.
Well, there is a quote that I wish that I wrote, but I've never played to this many people, but Dave Grohl said it best. He's like, you can play a song to 50,000 people and they will sing it back for 50,000 different reasons.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. So it's really cool. And I like to try and make sure that the art that I'm creating now holds its integrity to who I am, but also leaves it open for other people to enjoy. Because the thing is I could sit in my house and do this and never release it to Spotify and release it to all these things. But even if there's one person that feels like they've healed because they heard one of my songs, then I've done my job as a human. So that's how I think of it. I'm
sure that you have had circumstances where people have written to you and said, I so identified with what you wrote about in this song. And isn't that such a special feeling when that happens?
It is. It's one of the biggest compliments I've said that I've ever got. And anytime that it happens, is I feel like you wrote that song just for me. and it'll never get old for me. So then I feel like I'm doing the right thing, you know? The other day, like my YouTube, if you go look at it, is very stripped down. I have one song on there. I just wanted to freshen everything up and start new. And so I have one song in there, and it's one of my songs called Apology, and that'll be on the new record, but it's just me doing it acoustic in the Delta. I had somebody recently who followed me on Twitter and went and looked me up, and he went, oh my goodness, like those words were so meaningful to me, and I'm on that path. I know what it's like to have to apologize to yourself. And I was just like, I started like getting emotional reading his message. Like he took the time to listen to the song, and then on top of that, took the time to message me. A lot of people listen passively, and they're like, oh, that was good or whatever, and they never hit like, they never go follow the person on Spotify or on their socials or ever show up to a show, but it doesn't mean that the music isn't good. But when somebody takes the time to actually tell you how it made them feel, that is super special. Like it will always be something that I hold in high regard. So I don't care, you know, if it's one person or a million people, like I think that that is just so special. And I always encourage people to do that too. Like not just to me, but to other people with their music. If that touched you, like let the artist know. It's amazing. We love that.
So true. So let me ask you this, since we're talking about songs that have touched people's hearts. In your opinion, what is it that makes a great song?
Well, a great song is something that makes you feel something. Even if the memory isn't good at the moment, somehow that writer was able to write that song in a way that connected with you on a level that you weren't even aware of. And they don't even know you. And all of a sudden they're saying something that you're like, yeah, I felt like that. Writing music has so many facets, but it's also very simple. Speaking in simple terms, sometimes people always give pop music a bad rap. But the thing is that it's so relatable that people are able to connect with it very easily. Great songs, they come from artists who have the ability to invoke the emotion in you.
Just a simple lyric with a simple melody.
Even if it takes you back to a memory that's like, emotions can be happy. You know, sometimes, you know, as a writer, we kind of get a bad rap for being depressed or being through bad things, but you can write about happy things too, which, you know, just to sort of shamelessly self-promote, my next single is about being happy.
It's really easy to write about sad things because there's so much sad things that are going on around. You know, it's in the news all the time. But it really takes an effort to be able to craft a happy song. So I'm so glad that you've got a happy song coming out.
I think it's happy. I mean, it's also about healing, but it's a more positive outlook of it, and it's not quite so, you know, like Rear View is a little bit like, you know, it's got a little attitude to it, but this next one is just, it's got a little more of a pop shell to it, I guess. But it's still that roots rock Americana sort of type of thing. We had a lot of fun, you know, recording those tracks.
Let me ask you this. Where was this EP recorded?
So I had looked around a few places and ended up connecting with John McLaggan, who's one half of Tomato Tomato. He just seemed to be the right fit for the direction I wanted to go. He just brought it all together for me. It was out in Grand Bay, so not far, but it was a wonderful drive to get to go record every time that we had sessions. It was when we could during COVID lockdowns and all that stuff.
Tell me who is playing on the EP with you.
I had Clinton Charlton, who played drums, which I'm just so happy to have him and Chuck Teed. They are like a dynamic duo. They were so fun. John actually himself played acoustic guitar because it was just easier for him to do it. He's very, very good. Christian Beliveau, who's out of Moncton, who plays with the Backyard Devils and does a lot of other music projects, he played lead guitar. And then in Nashville, John Estes, he did the organ, the Wurlitzer, and the piano on the track. I mean, he just killed it. And then Mike Bigger, who you probably know. I don't know. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of the guy, yeah.
I hired him to come in and do percussion because he is a fantastic percussionist, and he came really highly recommended, even by Clinton himself. Clinton was like, you want percussion? You get Mike. Now, that was on every song. The difference is on Sleep with Ghosts, the title track, we actually had the St. John String Quartet come in and perform on that one, and I'm still in awe every time I listen to it.
That is fantastic. Well, Jaclyn, I can't wait for the full EP, Sleep with Ghosts, to come out next month.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. I can't wait to share it with you.
Jaclyn, thanks so much for chatting with me tonight at Route 941.
Thank you so much. Talk soon.
From her brand new EP, Sleep with Ghosts, this is Jaclyn Reinhart with Rear View on Route 941 on Country 94. Thanks for riding with me as we check our region to find the best in local, original country music. Come back again next week and I'll feature another artist. Route 941 is brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe and Country 94.